Let's talk about Darvin Ham though. And again, I sent a tweet. I'll go ahead and screen grab it, and I will pull it up here for those of you who are watching on YouTube, so that we can look at it and read it together. But I sent a tweet in that game, and I was really kind of frustrated with the Anthony Davis situation and the way that Torian Prince has been used so far this year. Here's what I wrote. I'm in a weird spot with this team. I obviously want them to succeed, but any success that increases the chances Ham is back next year might actually be a net negative. He's the worst coach I've ever had to watch, Byron included. Now, I know a lot of the attention since I sent that tweet was about that last sentence, that this is the worst coach I've ever had to watch, Byron included. And a lot of people are like, well, is he worse than Luke Walton? Is he really worse than Byron? How about that disastrous Mike D'Antoni season? Okay, fine. Like you want to get into the semantics here and get into the comparison shopping or whatever. I think you're kind of missing the point, because if Darvin is really in that grouping of some of the worst coaches I have ever seen, right? Byron Scott was just abysmal. And Luke Walton literally made Brooke Lopez never want to play for the Lakers again. And made Julius Randle want to leave as quickly as he possibly could have too. And if we're like debating, is Darvin worse than those two guys? I think that's the bigger point here. I think the bigger point is actually at the beginning of that tweet, where I'm like, do I really want the Lakers to do anything this year? Do I want them to get out of the first round if it means that it's more likely that Darvin Ham is actually back next year? That to me should be like the big bright lights thing, right? Like, I'm a writer. You never bury the lead. If the lead was, I think Byron, or I think Darvin is as bad as Byron, or I think he's as bad as Luke, or I think he's as bad as Mike D'Antoni when he was a Lakers coach, I would say I would have put that at the top. But no, I think the bigger deal here is the fact that I'm sitting here like, all right, let's be real, right? I'm going to do the Stephen A. Smith thing. All right, let's be real. Let's actually really examine this. I'm going to bring this down here. You guys can see me. There's a very serious moment here in the Lakers lounge, or on the Lakers lowdown. Do we really want the Lakers to win a playoff series? Like, if I had to tell you this is your call. The Lakers win a playoff series, one playoff series, and Darvin Ham comes back. Or you waste another LeBron season, but Darvin Ham isn't back next year. Which do you pick? Kind of sucks that we're in this spot, right? Like, it's not great that we're stuck here and we're like, I don't know. I'm not positive which is the better outcome here. And that's the spot that the Lakers and Jeannie and Rob Pelinka have put us in, where we're here trying to decide, is it better for the Lakers to lose early in the playoffs this year because it increases the chances that we don't have to watch Hot Pockets next season? That's crazy. That's insane. I can't believe, and it's actually a real conversation. It's a real conversation I've had multiple times over the course of the last couple weeks or so, whether it's on this show, whether it's right now, whether it's with people in DMs and texts and stuff like that, and with sources. Because like the way that I get my sourcing is I just talk to people. Like I have conversations with people, and I pluck nuggets from those conversations, and I offer them up to you fine folks. And so when I'm having those conversations, I'm legitimately asking league personnel, like, hey man, so what would you be rooting for here, right? And I'll have coaches from those other teams, and they'll be like, well, obviously I would want my team to win basketball games because my job is at stake with losing those basketball, or if we lose or win those basketball games. So okay, I get it from your perspective. But then I'll talk to people higher up in some in some organizations, and they'll be like, honestly, I think you're onto something. You just hope that Anthony Davis has this good of a season next year, and that LeBron James is once again this good somehow in his year 40 or age 40 season. And you see what the Lakers could possibly become without Darvin Ham holding them back, because this isn't just me. This isn't just my analysis. I think he's holding them back. There were other people who were like, also do what I do, and in their analysis of this, it's like the overwhelmingly popular stance here is that Darvin Ham is holding back this Lakers team. And you know, this league is too competitive to hope to compete consistently when your coach is doing dumbass stuff like having, at one point today, the lineup was Anthony Davis, fine. D'Angelo Russell, all right, that's fine. Austin Reeves, yeah, 2 starters, okay. Spencer Dinwiddie, hold on, what? Well, surely they had Rui in there, right, for some muscle? No. Oh no, they had Taurean Prince at the 4. At the 4. That means that this season, Taurean Prince has played point guard. Remember, he started with that all-wing lineup. Shooting guard, probably his most natural position, so that's fine. Small forward, okay, kind of stretching it here. And power forward, Taurean Prince was the guy who can't rebound in a game that the Lakers are struggling to rebound. Taurean Prince was your power forward at one moment? What? Multiple times on purpose? And then, like Darvin Ham says after the game, that apparently part of the reason Max Christie wasn't able to get into the game in the first half was because of Anthony Davis's foul trouble. Your center? You couldn't play a defensive-minded shooting guard because your all-world defensive center got in a foul. You would think that that's more of a reason to play Max Christie, because you need more perimeter defense to make up for the fact that Anthony Davis isn't there to clean up stuff behind the perimeter defenders. And it's just like, it's always an excuse. Always, right? We just heard JJ Redick talk about this stuff with Doc Rivers. He always finds some excuse to make for himself. It always winds up being a player's fault. That's what we're watching this season. That's what we're watching with Darvin Ham. Every time it's like, well, Darvin, what kind of adjustment can you make at halftime to make up for the fact that Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal haven't been guarded all half? Well, we just got to run harder. Excuse me? What? Huh? And that, by the way, that's me watching, but that's also how the Lakers have reacted to Darvin all season. Every single time they lose, or the other team goes on a run, or another team makes an adjustment that the Lakers have to adjust to, his adjustment is run faster, guys. Try harder. Be grittier. And I don't know, man. Like, it goes back to that question of, would you rather lose early in the postseason if it means for sure that Darvin Ham gets fired, or would you rather win a playoff round, let alone 2, and basically ensure that we're right back here doing the same old bullshit next year? I don't know. We do have a super comment on this subject, which means I'm going to play it again because I need to be in a better mood. But that super comment from God King Tony Clifton: percent chance Ham is gone if we finish 11th or worse. We need a consolation price. Also, could you turn on super thanks? I can't always make the stream. I'll find out what that is. Percent chance that Darvin is gone if they finish 11th or worse. I would say it's like a 90% chance that Darvin is gone if the Lakers don't make even the play-in. This was too good of a team, and you've had LeBron James and Anthony Davis too healthy to not make the play-in even. So that would be, he would be the first to go. But frankly, I think like, if you finish 11th, I think Pelinka probably needs to be looked at a little bit more closely. I believe Pelinka and Ham's contracts are actually aligned. So it actually makes it pretty clean if they do fall that far short of expectations, for Genie to just go in and say, like, look, man, you had your chance. They've had a championship run, you've had a Western Conference Finals run, but everything other than that has been mediocre at best. And this has just been too much of a roller coaster ride, given the star level talent that you've had to work with here. This is just not good enough. And I think that at the very least, Darvin Ham is gone. Now, as far as the where that line is interesting because I've done some digging on this, and I don't know. I don't know that winning a playoff series is necessarily enough for Darvin. This season has been a mess. You've had basically more than half of the locker room at odds with Darvin basically all season. And there's been some stretches where he goes back to relying on those guys and the Lakers look good, and then he goes away from it and those guys get frustrated all over again. And some of it is their fault, right? Rui hasn't played very well recently, and Vanderbilt has been hurt, and there are excuses and there's context to take into account here. But as I've been told, I think he needs to go on a lengthy playoff run to not just get further belief from the front office, but probably more importantly, these players. These players have basically the way that from those who were closer to the Lakers and closer to some of these players, the way that I've kind of heard it is that these guys basically they win in spite of the coach. They play well for themselves and for each other, but it's not to win one for the Gipper, right? It's not. I don't know if you guys remember Major League, was it 2? Yeah, it was Major League 2, where that manager for Major League 2 gets a heart attack, right? In one of my favorite scenes of all time. He's got a knee thing, and he's got a commercial thing, and he's got a movie thing, and then some of us have a heart attack thing. They're like, Coach, who's having a heart attack? And he's like, I'm having a heart attack. And he goes to the hospital. And then he's like in the hospital, and they basically tells everybody, like, win one for me, whatever, I believe. But like, if in this case, like when the Lakers play well, and anytime like good things happen on the court, especially with those core guys from last year, they spend a lot of time like looking back at the sideline, like, see, you see, you see why we went on a run last time, and I just it's been a really frustrating season for a lot of the involved parties. And I think, I think LeBron would like to see Darvin gone. I don't think Anthony Davis particularly cares. That's not really the way that he rolls, but even he has taken some shots at Darvin this year. You just saw the other night or the other day, LeBron, take a picture of him and Pop. Love you, coach. He's complimented Tyronn Lue, and other guys have complimented other coaches. D'Angelo Russell, not a particularly huge Darvin Ham fan. Austin Reeves, not a Darvin Ham fan. Rui Hachimura, not a Darvin Ham fan. And I just think, he's done a lot of damage to his kind of status in that locker room. And I think that so much damage has been done that enough guys, if they were asked by the organization what they would like to happen this offseason, I think a lot of guys would probably stand up and say, like, can we get a new coach? Can we get a coach who does coach things and not just like, preacher things? Can we get somebody who adjusts to a zone occasionally? Can we just try it? Can we? And I don't know. I don't know how it would all play out. But to answer the question that I know a lot of people have been wondering all season, what would it take for Darvin to save his job? I think that bar is actually pretty high at this point. We'll see, though. You know, this this ownership group and this front office has done some weird things in keeping Darvin Ham around beyond like a couple months ago when there was like an out and out mutiny basically brewing in the I don't know why I said mutiny that way. A mutiny is how I said it, but like you've had guys just that article, that piece that the Athletic wrote were 6 sources. When you have that many people coming out and saying like, yeah, this guy sucks. Uh that's like as loud as it gets for NBA coaches. In terms of inter organizational noise, and he somehow survived that. And while all that was going on, you had nothing but praise from ownership in the front office. It hasn't exactly been great since then, though, and I do kind of think that enough noise has existed there to where I think everybody is just kind of like, all right, let's all move on. Let's all be better than this.